The Volkswagen Golf R. It's like a normal Golf, so the boot is decent, rear passenger space is good, and the infotainment system is slick. However, it costs from £33,000 for this 5-door, which is a hell of a lot for a Golf. So is it worth it?
This car has a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine with 310 horsepower and 400 newton metres of pulling power. Importantly, it's also got all-wheel drive, so it can make the most of all that performance. And it's really handy on a day like today because it's raining pretty badly. Now, this car in manual version, which is what I've got, should be able to do 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds. So let's see how fast it feels. I'm going to try and launch it. Here we go. Oh, it tends to bog down a little bit, but the fact that it's soaking wet isn't seeming to matter one bit, and that's the 60.
I actually managed 0 to 60 miles an hour in 6.2 seconds, which, well, wasn't great. The Auto would have done it in about 4.5 seconds, even in the wet. And while it may cost an extra £1,300, if you click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can go to carwow.co.uk and save around £4,000 on a Golf R.
Now, if I was going to be mainly cruising around, I'd probably want this car with the automatic gearbox. But if I'm going to get a chance to go on a twisty road quite often, I would go for the manual because it's just a little bit more engaging. It adds to the fun, and the pedals are actually nicely spaced for heel and towing, and I can do it even in my awful big silly boots. And that's the beauty of this car. So if I'd been in the Golf GTI, I'd have been understeering there and it would struggle, but as the fronts start to slip, power goes to the back wheels and it pushes you out of a corner. If you lift off, you can tighten your line. It's the most playful Golf ever, without doubt. It's really quite surprising how much fun they've made this car. You can even turn off the stability control all the way. The only thing is though that I don't think this is still quite as much fun as a Honda Civic Type R. The gearbox isn't quite as slick, even though it's nice. The steering's not as sharp, even though it's good. The chassis isn't quite as flat in the corners, even though it's very impressive. But the problem with that Civic Type R is that it looks like it's been designed as a child's toy.
In contrast, this VW is far more grown up. But there's still visual clues which hint at the performance.
The R looks a little bit more sporty than a normal Golf because of some styling upgrades, such as this silver bar that goes into the headlamps. You've also got a deeper front bumper. This particular car has some extra styling add-ons as well as an option, such as these special alloy wheels. They're standard. You do get R calipers. You also get side skirts as well, lowered ride height with sportier suspension, little boot spoiler there at the back, and an R badge. The thing that stands out most though are the quad tailpipes. Look at them, looks a little bit mean.
But would buying this performance car be mean to your wallet? Not necessarily.
If you're not thrashing it, it should be able to do in the real world around 30 to 35 miles per gallon.
Really, when it comes to hot hatches, the Golf R is one of the easier ones to justify as a daily driver.
And you can live with it every day. So this one has the adaptive dampers. They're about a £900 option, but they're well worth it because if I press this button, go into comfort mode, not only does it make the steering lighter, not only does it make the exhaust slightly quieter, but it also slackens off the suspension. And then this car is incredibly good over bumps.
The upgraded suspension is probably the only real must-have option, as the Golf R is generally very well equipped right out of the box.
As standard, you get digital dials. You also get the top-of-the-range sat-nav system and big widescreen display. You also get a sportier steering wheel with our logo on it. You get some blue accent on the gear knob, some blue accenting up here as well, and silver and carbon fibre trim about the place. You also get our sport seats, which are a bit more body hugging, but they're not that exciting. Ironically, the slightly cheaper Golf GTI with its red accents just seems to stand out a bit more and feel a bit more sporty inside, especially as the seats in the Golf GTI have like this tartan effect. So this is the range-topping Golf and it just feels Golf-like. It's good, but not great.
There is another way the cheaper GTI is slightly better than the range-topping R2.
The boot of the Golf R is slightly smaller than the normal Golf, and that's because part of the all-wheel drive system is underneath the boot floor, and it means that you don't have the extra space underneath here like you would on the standard car.
But really, these are minor criticisms, which are unlikely to put you off if you already like this car.
So then, what's my final verdict on the Volkswagen Golf R? Well, I think this is a brilliant all-round hot hatch that does everything that you could ever want a car to do. Now if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel and click on the windows for more videos. Now if you've seen my S3 video, you're probably thinking, you've essentially done exactly the same review. Well, don't blame me, blame Volkswagen Group, because this is pretty much the same car as an S3. So they were lazy, I was lazy. So